And so my attitude towards the process is one of brutal embrace. Like, put my head down and just jump into it, because it sucks. It is uncomfortable as hell to have a vision for a piece of music and to know that to get there, I have to sit at that keyboard and just note by note move, even though I feel like I've lost all vision, I've lost all hope, I'm losing my whole career, everything sucks, I suck, everyone who's ever met me sucks. That's the emotional place I get in most of the times I'm creating. Happy Friday, friends, or Saturday, depending on when this gets done. So today I was working on my Journey Back to Music epilogue, where I'm going to talk about the production of the track I made and just kind of the nitty-gritty on how I actually produced that piece and what, the ways I like to produce music. But because I'm collaborating with other people, that stuff tends to take time. So I was just like, let's just do a Q&A. So I went to Instagram, went to Twitter, and here commences our Q&A. Kagan says, can you recommend a Canon Prime that is versatile, portraits and interviews? I'm not the biggest lens guy, but I love the 50mm. In fact, I've got the cheaper one right here, not the L series $1,000 one. I've got this $300 one here, and I use it a lot for interviews, in fact. They say that 50mm is the closest to real life as far as the compression goes. So I don't know, check that out. We're looking at an 18 right here. So yeah, Kagan, I hope that helps. Lauren, you asked how to make music. I think that begins in your heart. Soy sauce or Worcestershire? Worcestershire. That's a tough question. That's like asking, do you like to drink water or Gatorade? Well, it depends on the context. Sean also asked, favorite pedal for the acoustic guitar? Well, here's the deal. I've never been a pedal guy for acoustic guitar in the days of me playing it live. But if I went back in time and was into pedals the way I've been into pedals the last few months, I would get JHS's Clover, because not only is it a clean boost, but you can mess with the EQ right there, and it's a direct box. So you can go in and it'll send a balanced XLR out. So that's huge, man. Check it out, Sean. You could use it downtown. A.O. Dewson, how do you power your Zoom F8? Dude, literally this is the question. I've got the F8 and input here. We got the cloud lifter right there, not using the other preamp. So I've got 8 AA's inside here. I'll never use that straight up, but I'll use that as the backup. That does not last long at all, like maybe an hour tops when you're recording multiple tracks. But I found this online. A company called Hawkwoods makes this thing. It is a Sony NPF battery to Hirose adapter. This guy powers my F8 all day long, doing 3, 4, 5 inputs, constant recording, no questions asked. It was a 7800 milliamp hour Sony NPF. I think this is Watson is the one that made this battery. Link your beard products. I covered this one on Instagram, but I just want to give a big shout out to Birch Rose & Co. They tend to make a lot more feminine products than masculine products, aka products for women than men, but I have bought their beard oil for years, and I've never found anything that I like as much as their Modern Gentleman Cedar Orange beard oil. Proximity Video, aka Matt Terwilliger, what would be your biggest quick tip on getting the cleanest interview audio and mic? The easiest way is to boom it above somebody's head, but if you don't have that option, an onboard shotgun is a great solution. If you're running and gunning, just putting a shotgun mic on the camera, putting it in somebody's face and asking them questions, you're gonna be just totally good to go. Spencer Noe asked, the top 3 Titus songs. Titus is my first band, and there is footage of me and Titus on YouTube. If you just Google Titus session documentary, you'll find some embarrassing footage that probably should be taken down. I'm not sure if it's fully appropriate, but it's me recording with Titus in 2008. Titus was a band earlier than that, like 02, high school, but we got back together in 08 and made some tracks. I think our top 3 tracks, definitely Matthew Moore asks, favorite act from Disney on Ice. Legit, hands down, was Ariel and Prince. Jackson asks, what made you want to pursue filmmaking? Bro, look, when the opportunity showed up for me to get into filmmaking, when Bobby Pitts asked me to go to coffee at our baby shower when I was still working as a real estate appraiser, it became very clear that it was the thing I could not do. I had no choice. My soul just lit on fire, and I was like, this is it. This is gonna open the doors to everything. Andrew Warner says, what was the most important lesson you had to learn in your process as a filmmaker that has had a positive effect on you and your film/videos? Okay, the most important lesson in all of creating for me is the process. Literally, I am somebody who has huge visions for things I want to make, whether it's music or film or whatever. And when I sit down to do the hard work to make it, I feel like I'm not making any progress. I feel like actually sitting down and doing grunt work is the opposite of making the big, beautiful thing. But what I've learned more than anything in this field is that a lot of little ugly pieces make one giant, beautiful thing. A lot of really sweaty, bloody, and honestly uncomfortable little acts make a giant, beautiful thing. And that is called the process. And so my attitude towards the process is one of brutal embrace. Like, put my head down and just jump into it, because it sucks. It is uncomfortable as hell to have a vision for a piece of music and to know that to get there, I have to sit at that keyboard and just note by note move, even though I feel like I've lost all vision, I've lost all hope, I'm losing my whole career, everything sucks, I suck, everyone who's ever met me sucks. That's the emotional place I get in most of the times I'm creating. And I am extra dramatic, for sure. But that process, those little ugly daily tasks, lead to something beautiful. Don't give up. Andrew Warner also asks, what advice would you give somebody starting out? Would you suggest filming and creating videos every day is a good thing to hone your skills? Just create once a week or so, make that great? Honestly, I don't know if I'd have advice about frequency. Just the more the merrier, as long as you're making good things that are challenging you. I don't think that just making repetitive videos actually makes anybody any better. It's like the idea that singing to your favorite music in the car would make you a better singer. I think that you actually need to hone and work on the craft and study and learn and read blogs and go, find the filmmakers that inspire you, watch their films, download their films from the internet, put it into Premiere, mark where they make their cuts, look at the audio waveform. Like, just copy until you find out what you're lacking compared to them, and then start working on that. I mean, I feel like that's Austin Kleon from Steal Like an Artist. I read part of that book, but I am not good at finishing books. Alec Binks, what entry-level studio headphones would you recommend for at-home use for PC? I would just say get the 280 Pros, man. Brady Anderson, with your audio background, why did you choose filmmaking instead of audio storytelling and podcasting? That's a great question. I do have an audio background, but filmmaking is my passion. And many of you might not even know this. Like, the audio thing about this channel, I somewhat fell into. My YouTube channel was started as like an all things filmmaking channel, to be honest. Like, I was doing camera reviews at the beginning and talking about color grading. And when the videos about audio production and audio gear and audio processing started to take off, I was like, okay, well, there's my niche. I better niche down to that, because I do have skills there. I did go to school for that. I have done that much longer and before I got into filmmaking. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, I don't want to run live sound full time. I don't want to mix full time. I want to make films. I want to go make documentary films and YouTube vids. Brady also asks, who is better looking, you or your brother Paul? And I didn't know you knew Paul, Brady, but that's an obvious answer. It's definitely Paul. Johan Talyard. Johan Talyard. I feel like that's a very like Icelandic or Nordic, a very Nordic name. And if I'm getting that wrong, please forgive me. I'm from Kansas. How do pro audio people become pro? Legit film sound guys are on a different planet when it comes to listening and knowing what sounds good. How do I get that? How do I train myself to get better? How do I study sound to get better at all? What a great question. When you find the answer to that, report back to me. Brady again, define failure. How do you use it as an asset for personal growth and creative progress? Yeah, man, failure is hard. I am a shame-based person. I'm an Enneagram 4 with a 3-wing, if you know the Enneagram, and failing is my worst fear. I believe that a failure will end my career. And when I feel like I'm failing, doing those little ugly moments, like I said earlier, to make something beautiful, I feel like everything's over for me. And so I guess as I've grown in 5 straight years of doing this, so I think failure is just a great teacher, even though it's hard and it stings. Brady again, man, love you, dude. Let's hang sometime if you know Paul, especially. How to phase out social media but still stay creatively and socially relevant? I don't know. Son of Jesus Christ asks, how long have you been doing this? Like, how long have you been good at what you do? Your YouTube channel, your video recording, music production, freelancing. How long have you been what you consider good at these things? Normally when we first start, we're a little rough. I don't consider myself to be good at many of them. I think I'm really good at creating a vision for a film project, if it's for a client. I think I have a decent ear for mixing music, and I definitely know I'm good at dreaming up melodies and chord progressions and writing music. And I'm good at making YouTube videos, but here's the deal. Good doesn't mean much without the work. And I think the only way you get better is by hard work. So how long have I been good at this? I've had a knack for it my whole life. I've been making film since I was in kindergarten. That's undeniable. I'm a creative person and I need an outlet for that. But none of that means anything without the work. And that's what happened in 2014 that changed everything. I had an opportunity to do the work, and I chose to do the work and stop sitting around and being sad that I wasn't living out my dream of being a musician. You know how many years I spent being depressed because I wasn't a touring acoustic singer-songwriter? But what was I doing to become that? Literally nothing. I expected life to hand it to me, and that's the most toxic way you could possibly live. And anybody who was successful, I hated them because I wanted that. I was jealous. I was envious. And as I learned that it's actually up to me and I'm not a victim of anybody and I can get off my ass and go work towards something and make little hard, uncomfortable, ugly decisions that eventually lead to something beautiful. That's the only reason we are sitting here having this conversation right now. Adam Kuzniar, do you ever feel like the career you've chosen is a constant race with no defined endpoint? Do you ever regret choosing it? Yes and no. Twin Sauce asks, what's your favorite musical? Phantom of the Opera, hands down. Gonna see it on Broadway in New York City at the end of May. All right, fam, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you all who watch through these whole things and just are part of the journey that I'm on. I love doing this with you as well, so comment below, like interact, go, follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I don't see myself as like a creator, you know what I mean? It's like we're all in this together, and I'm so down to like help you if you need help, and I know that some of you can help me when I need help type thing. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This brings me so much joy to get fun questions like this, get to answer them with raw life experience that I'm in the middle of, and I'm still young, which is so damn exciting. You know how like I've got so many years to grow, even as filmmaking changes, evolves, and what I'm doing today may not even be around tomorrow, but that's okay because we're adaptable. I'm adaptable. We're moving together. Okay, see you next week.